Hey there, my dudes, Squidlets, and in this video, hey ladies, today we're going to be talking about one of the best parts of motorcycling, being a good passenger. Now, before you flame me, think about what got you into motorcycling in the first place. I'm not being sexist here, most females get into motorcycling because they were a passenger first. For the guys, 2-up may not be the best position, especially with another dude. Hey, what happens while riding pillion stays there. There are those rare instances where a guy in a relationship doesn't care about bikes, yet his girlfriend is a track-attacking R1M riding dank nooner poppin' chick. Seriously, it's happened, it's real. Anyways, today we're going to talk about how to be the best passenger you can be. No matter your experience, or if you don't have experience, this list should help you as ride on the back seat of a two-wheeled death machine. Because you guys never know when you're going to have to ride 2-up. Seriously, guys, and I do mean guys, I've had to ride 2-up a few times, and even though it is awkward, it is helpful to know how to be a good passenger because it is very different from riding. But before we jump in here, I do have to mention our beginner bike giveaway series. Right now, if you go to yammienoob.co or yammienoobmerch.com, you can get yourself entered to win. If you go to yammienoob.co, you can get a tier 2 package. It's $20 a month. You get access to our Discord server, all kinds of other cool perks, and 200 entries to win each of our bikes. We're giving away a Honda CB650R, a Kawasaki Ninja 400, and a Suzuki DRZ 400. So whatever your flavor, we got something for you. If you head over to the merch site, every dollar you spend gets you an entry to win. So if you pick up a hoodie for $40, you get yourself 40 entries to win each motorcycle. So check out the links below, get yourself signed up to win. Now let's see what makes being a good passenger. Number 1, you gotta know your rider. Some people are giddy when it comes to becoming the passenger on a motorcycle. Whether you're a guy or girl and you've been offered the chance to go for a ride on a bike, the biggest thing you need to consider is how well do you know the rider. Don't just toss a helmet on and go for a ride. Experience plays a huge part in this equation, specifically experience with someone riding pillion. Steer clear of any rider offering to take you for a rip if they only have a learner's permit, which can be illegal, has less than adequate experience of about 3 to 4 months or anything under 3,000 miles. It's kind of hard to gauge how well a rider is if you're not one yourself. Asking these questions should lead to confident answers. This is a motorcycle and not a car, so the risk factor is huge here. When in doubt, wait until the rider has more experience before becoming a passenger. If your rider happens to be a squid and doesn't wear any gear, I, Yammie Noob, am officially warning you to not get on that bike. Don't succumb to the ways of the squid. It's okay, not really, for a rider to be a super squid, but once they're adding a passenger, that's gotta stop. Number 2, know the roads and traffic conditions. As the passenger on a motorcycle, being aware of where you will be will immensely help you stay on instead of being thrown off the bike and becoming scared. Knowing points in the trip when there will be a lot of stop and go or areas of acceleration will help you know when to hold on the tightest. Being mentally prepared for what the rider's next move will make your ride a lot easier and more comfortable. When the rider brakes, you might be moved forward by the forces, and conversely, during hard acceleration, you might be pulled back by the bike. Knowing when these situations are about to occur will help you prepare for them and even avoid the adverse reactions you could experience if you weren't paying attention. Know the upcoming roads ahead and be prepared for the train tracks, bumps, on-ramp, or all the traffic lights in the city. Number 3, know how to sit. It might seem weird, but as the passenger on a bike, you're going to need to know what to do in certain situations. This is basically knowing how to sit on the rear seat of the motorcycle. Since your foot pegs will most likely be near the exhaust system, keep your feet on the foot pegs. Don't become distracted and try to find a better place to rest your feet. You won't find anything else that'll be as comfortable. When the rider starts to lean into a corner, you probably need to lean in as well. When the rider ducks forward, you should do the same. Don't suddenly shift your weight or try to rock the bike. Let the bike balance itself and just enjoy the ride. Countering what the bike needs to do can scare the rider and possibly cause you both to crash. Relax and go with the flow. Keep your arms around the rider's waist unless you have a sissy bar. Grab onto that while in motion. Do not, and in all seriousness, do not try to play practical jokes or ever try to cover your rider's vision or something crazy like that. That can lead to crashing. Also, be sure to not jerk around or move very much in slow speed situations. If your rider is not super comfortable with having a pillion on the back, slow speed maneuvers can be tricky with a rider on the back of the pillion. Number 4, wear the proper gear. If you're about to hop on the back of a Turbo Busa with a rider that's wearing flip-flops, I can save you the hassle of guessing and just tell you that you're gonna die. As important as it is for the rider to wear such gear as a helmet, boots, gloves, and a jacket, it is just as important that the passenger wears appropriate gear as well. As a passenger, you have 2 very distinct disadvantages which require you to wear gear. 1, you're not in control of the motorcycle, and 2, it's a lot easier for the passenger to fall off than the rider. With these two things in mind, consider how your rider is dressed and how you're dressed. I know there are things like couples who squid together, stay together, and all other kinds of social media crap, but in reality, if your rider is squidding hard, you might not want to get on the back even if you do have your gear on. You're putting the control of your life into someone else's hands. With that all being said, the proper gear is simply the gear that fits you, that will protect you, and that is weather appropriate. It's the same as our riders. Don't wear a helmet that doesn't fit or a secondhand one that's been used before. Buy your own gear if you're serious about the rider. If you two aren't going to be acquainted for a while, I guess you're on your own. If you foresee yourself being on the back of another bike or possibly getting one yourself, investing in a good quality helmet will go a long ways. Gloves and a jacket will help and are highly recommended. You should also wear over-the-ankle boots for your protection. Number 5, discuss the ride before you go. As a passenger, there are a few things that need to be discussed with the rider. Things such as which side of the bike do you get on from, how do you get on, how do you get off. Things are going to be extremely important. If you two are kickstand up but you forgot something and try to jump off at a standstill, you might take the rider by surprise and cause him or her to drop the bike. Knowing the basics of getting on, off, and the order of which you two will do it, and we're not talking about sex here, will go a long way for a smooth ride. Knowing where exactly you're heading will mentally prepare for what is ahead. Are there a lot of corners on your route? What about the speed limit? Not only is mounting and dismounting important before your ride, you should also discuss where you are going and for how long you'll be gone. In a car, it's easy to ask your partner literally anything. If you two don't have a Bluetooth system in your helmets, it's going to be difficult to communicate with the wind noise. That brings us to our next item, communication. Assuming you don't have a Bluetooth system, communication is something that needs to be sorted out before the two of you ride. Although I will say I highly recommend getting yourself 2 Cardo PackTalk Bolds and syncing up that way. It's the best communication system. Seriously, I use one, have been using one for a while. It's great. Hand signals in forms of touching or tapping are some of the best ways to communicate non-verbally. If you have to though, there should be ways to indicate the following messages. For example, I could use a stop, I need to stop soon, I need to stop right now, slow down, speed up, I like this, I'm not enjoying this, disregard, those kind of messages. Don't just think about bathroom breaks either. Remember, when you're on a motorcycle, even having a back zipper for a vent on your jacket wide open can lead to a bad ride. If the rider takes off but the chin strap isn't fastened, the rider needs to stop immediately so the passenger can be safe and fix the problem. A lot of different issues can arise, so it's important to have some sort of communication system in place. Some couples use a system of taps and grabbing involving the shoulders and the rider's stomach area. And the final one, get your endorsement. This one's gonna be in the left field for some of you, but the last on our list of ways to be a good passenger on a motorcycle is to get your own endorsement. But Papa Yams, why? I just wanna be a passenger, you cry out to me. Because Baby Yam, it's the only way to truly understand what the rider is going through. If you've only ever been a passenger, it would behoove you to go to the MSF course or other periods of instructions where you get to ride a motorcycle yourself. Understanding what a motorcyclist thinks will be really hard unless you personally grasp the concept of leaning in turns, the friction zone, and the importance of having gear. Many passengers have actually done this, sometimes with their own riders as a couple activity. How sweet, but it's the best way to prepare for any situation on a motorcycle. The biggest benefit, imagine you're riding somewhere as a passenger and then your rider can't go on for some reason. If you have your endorsement, then you can take over and ride the bike back for the two of you. Maybe you're both planning a trip, a long trip, even cross country on a motorcycle. This would be the time when having not one but 2 riders with endorsements would come in handy. Have you seen Torque? I discussed this gem from 2004 a few times. The main characters are not only in this awkward relationship, but are both riders. Lo and behold, Monet Mazur rides a Triumph. Where is my sponsorship? I've lost hope on that a long time ago if it isn't obvious. Maybe I'll blow up this Daytona I have now just to prove a point. Anyways, long story short, she ends up jacking some punk's Kawasaki ZX-7R after a chase and sadly wrecking her Triumph. She rides back to find her man and hops onto the rear seat, allowing him to be the rider, and they lived happily ever after. Wait a sec. Consider the endorsement for yourself if you really want to be a great passenger. Now, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. Do you agree? Disagree? Do you have a lot of experience riding pillion? Please let me know in the Please let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to see how many of you ride as a passenger. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure to check out the beginner bike giveaway series. We've got a lot going on over there. Remember, 3 bikes up for grabs: Honda CB650R, Kawasaki Ninja 400, and Suzuki's DRZ 400. Click those links and get entered to win. I'll catch you guys next time. Fact: the Wisconsin Master Cheesemaker program is not for amateur dairy lovers. The prestigious program is so elite that candidates are required to have had a Wisconsin cheesemaker's license for at least 10 years before they're even eligible to apply. You have to also pass a series of courses on subjects like cheese technology, cheese grating, not grating, and another on being a cheese artisan. Goodbye.